Hey there, film fans. I'm Jeff.
And I'm Dave, and welcome back to The Love of Cinema, a pod in which we challenge one another to discuss movies both new and old with a strictly positive critical eye. You were trying to distract me and it didn't work.
I hope that comes through in the audio. Yeah, that's right, people. We are a positive film podcast that has turned our gimmick into a drinking game in which anytime we say anything negative about really anything, but specifically about this film, you're going to hear this sound. That means we are going to drink. So for those of you kids who somehow got around your parents' parental settings, we are drinking beer. This is a beer drinking podcast. So kids,
well, that's why we're doing this movie, because the one audience we haven't really cracked is, the kids, 8 to 12 market on our swearing drinking podcast.
The kids 8 to 12 who just want to listen to a podcast and drink beer.
So pour yourselves a glass and let's sit back and talk about the only speedster who can go to Hawaii without getting fucking arrested.
Oh my god, little coincidental there that Hawaii, where the wedding is, just happens to be a pivotal plot point later in the movie.
I did giggle, but anyway.
Yes, so we're specifically talking about Sonic 2, but we should, well, first things first, this just came out, right? So this is the beginning of April 2022, in case you're listening to this in the future. Maybe your kids made you watch this. Maybe somehow you had to get the Paramount Plus perhaps subscription, the same way everybody was basically baited into getting their Disney Plus subscription, and somehow you found Sonic 1 and or 2 and you're listening to us here. This just came out. We were debating between doing this and Michael Bay's Ambulance with Jake Gyllenhaal. Ambulance did not do particularly well at the theater, and Sonic 2 did, so we ended up making the really good choice.
Broke records.
Do you have the numbers? Because I actually have the numbers here.
Nope. I knew you'd have the numbers, so I didn't look them up.
Oh, that's good. You knew I'd be so prepared.
Yeah. I do the socials, you do the numbers.
That's right. So the first movie, we're gonna touch on Sonic 1 a little bit because I just watched it for the first time, and Dave, you watched half of it for the first time.
Yeah, I got halfway through it and I had to leave the house, and so I just never went back, and so I went back this weekend.
Way to budget your time correctly. Okay, so this movie came out around Valentine's Day 2020. So for those of you who know your history, that was about a month before all the theaters shut down. So it made $142 million in its first month domestically, the original movie. And it did well overseas, but then it, got shut down like everything else. So Sonic 2, it was obviously going to happen. It did happen. It might be Jim Carrey's last movie. Who knows? Probably not, because we'll get to that. I wonder if the people involved with Sonic were like, wait, excuse me, did you just say you're retiring? We might, or we might not be done with you. We'll see.
I feel like they're in a good place.
I mean, yeah.
If he does retire. But we'll discuss that later.
Yeah, we'll get to the spoilers later. Hint, tease. So this movie made $71 million domestically in its opening weekend. So just for comparison, that is 8 times as much as Michael Bay's movie. Sorry, Michael Bay. Actually, 9 times as much. So sorry. And it's better than its original opening in 2020, which was $58 million. And that is the second biggest opening of the year after The Batman. And that is the 5th biggest opening since theaters reopened, including Spider-Man, including all the Marvels. This is the 5th biggest domestic opening in a year. So Sonic 2, people, we are ready to go. And they really wanted to get to, I think, $600 million worldwide, which it could very well do because it's already got 140 globally. So, fuck, man. So there you go. Paramount.
Nobody saw that coming.
Plus. Now, really quick, we also have to say, for those of our listeners listening in real time, Morbius, Dave, last week I said that Morbius outperformed its expectations at 39 million, and you were like, I can't wait to see the week 2 drop off. It fell down 74% to 10 million, which I believe is the second ever worst drop off for a movie that made $35 million.
What was the worst? The Love Guru?
Hellboy 2. Hellboy 2. No, sorry, Ride Along 2.
Oh, wow. I could see Hellboy 2 doing it.
The buzzes are real, people, and we're really drinking. Okay, but anyway, let's get into the Sonics here. So, really quick to catch us up in what's going on here. Sonic 1. What are just some initial thoughts of Sonic 1 before we get into Sonic 2?
So, Sonic 1 for me was a little bit of a slow burn. They got through the initial scene, and then when it settled down into the story and what it was, I feel like it got a lot better. So Sonic 1 did not grab me from the get-go. Probably why I watched half of it, then went back and had to watch it again.
Yeah, you made it sound like you had somewhere to be, but now it might be You just said somewhere else you would rather be. Okay.
I didn't say it. I didn't say it.
I want to buzz you so bad. But your overall takeaway from Sonic 1, did you leave after seeing the final thing ready to go see Sonic 2?
I actually quite enjoyed Sonic 1.
What was it that stood out for you? Besides just the base of the story.
I mean, it was kind of fun, but it will also like Sonic 1, the cheese factor and like the fact that it is a kids movie gets like telegraphed.
Yeah.
So like a little bit to the point that if you're an older audience member, they're not really catering for you, which is a bad thing if you're releasing this in cinemas where, the mums and dads have got to sit through it as well.
Oh, they really wanted these moms and dads to have a good time.
They really did.
Hence the PG rating, unlike the Disney's G ratings for a lot of their movies. And they did the Uncharted and Deadpool opening where they opened with the action scene to basically promise you that action is coming to that very point.
Yeah.
They literally opened with like the last battle, not even like the midway battle like some of these movies like Uncharted kind of did.
Yeah.
It was literally like the final battle they opened with, and then it was like, hey, how did I get into this battle? And it's like, well, I'll take 45 minutes. You won't see much action outside of that one little, like,
everybody who's writing a script in film school right now, Sonic 1.
But these are hard. I mean, we'll talk about Halo and then what we've been recommending for the week, because now that I have the Paramount Plus so that I could watch Sonic, I saw that. Video game things, it's like people do play video games for the story, but I never played Sonic for the story. So
I play video games for the story.
Well, nowadays we do, I guess. But when Sonic came out, it was in color because it was on Sega Genesis when Nintendo Game Boy was black and white. And it was just like kind of like Donkey Kong. It was like running through the woods
more
really
than
fast.
8 colors, which was great.
Yeah, I didn't... It had more than 8 colors. I didn't.
It's the truth.
Well, whatever. Fuck yourself. My brother had the Sega and I had the Game Boy growing up. So whenever it got dark outside, he could still play his, and I was screwed to just think, to just dream while he got to play this. But we did, like, it wasn't the same. It wasn't whatever. They just fucking ran through the woods. So I was really worried that the story would tank this movie. And you know what sold it for me? There was a breastfeeding joke in the first movie. There was a colonoscopy joke in the first movie.
Yep.
There is James Marsden saying that he wants to move to San Francisco because he wants to be in some life and death situations. No, he's a police officer, but still, most people...
You get bored out in the country. Come on.
most people, they do want to do things, but I don't think they want to be in a gunfight necessarily. Maybe one to say you did it, but he's like, I want to go to San Francisco and I want to save someone's life, perhaps at the risk of my own. I was very surprised by that, but I ultimately came away feeling pretty damn good.
And then
also, the whole thing happened because he was really lonely. It was really a bucket list friendship movie, the first one.
Yeah. And then we get to Sonic 2.
All right, so Sonic 2. Let's read the plot. Let's read the description here. You ready? This is on IMDb. When the manic Dr. Robotnik returns to Earth with a new ally, Knuckles, the echidna. Sonic and his new friend, Tails, is all that stands in their way. What do you think about Sonic 2?
I was a little worried because we started it was just Jim Carrey in the first 5 minutes, and it was just him being zany, but he's more mellow zany, and I was like, oh, I hope this is going to work. And then as soon as they introduced Knuckles and moved on from that point, I was like, I am all in. Like, this, like, it's the same directing and writing team. They added one writer, I think, for this one. But this Sonic 2 should be the manual on how to write a movie for kids. I had such a fucking good time in this thing. It was amazing.
No shit.
Yeah.
What really stood out for you?
Fun story. I when I was scrolling down looking for a session, I didn't realize I'd scrolled off the Dolby Cinema because, you know, I'm fucking bougie. I go and see them with that. And plus also, you know, you go to the more expensive ones, the people shut up in the movie. But I accidentally booked one on floor 6 of Times Square. That, you know, that's that floor you dare not speak its name when you go up there. So I've gone into cinema 19 and I've sat in D row because I thought I was booking the one that had all the space at the front, And so I'm sitting there, and the whole audience is behind me. I'm the front person in the theater, so all I can see is like the top of my fucking bald head sticking over the thing. This guy's there by himself. Everyone's probably like,
the listeners don't know what your hairline looks like.
I know, but they were probably thinking, "Wow, is that guy masturbating?" Or like, but anyway.
Oh, the people in the movie theater are thinking that. Not the people at home listening to this podcast. They are very clear on the fact that you're not.
Yeah, this microphone's very sensitive.
They thought you were Jack Nicholson in The Departed, the people in the movie theater.
And anyway, so there's an audience behind me of kids and their parents. And the kids were going nuts.
You in front of them. That's funny. Yeah,
and
the kids,
which was great. Like all these kids, like you could hear these kids. And the funny thing happened, like, because normally I hate people talking in the movie. Like, I hate it. If you're sitting there talking in the movie, it pisses me off. It's like, I'm here to watch a movie. Shut up and watch the movie. Not with this film. These kids saw some shit and they wanted to talk about it. They don't have it in a monologue. Their parents like, shh. And I felt like standing up going, don't shush them. They've just seen something fucking awesome and they want to communicate it. Like, they have no inner monologue. This is the only thing. They have to get it out. And that's great. But the best thing about it was these kids are reacting to this stuff and then they do this really deep Sonic reference. And then mums and dads are like, yeah! So, and it was bouncing between the two. So I don't know if I had more fun with the audience behind me or what was happening on screen. But either way, it would like go and see this with like a full of families. I would highly recommend it because
you gotta go soon because they're all seen it.
This is perfect because they've hit just at the time when the entire generation that was like playing this game and played all like as many of them as they could. They've dropped the movie when those guys now have kids. The kids are liking that, and then they're getting all the Sonic references and all the like 90s pop culture references. Like all the music is for the mums and dads. No, True. Not even kidding. Like every pop culture reference in this film is for the mums and dads. All the action is for the kids. And it works. It works beautifully. And I had such a good time. Everybody in my theater had such a good time. It was fucking amazing.
The gush alarms got him.
It was really good. I really had a great time. I walked out in a much better mood than I went in because I realized I'd stuffed up my theater booking.
I completely agree. I had a fantastic time. And actually, I'm surprised you said that about the opening because I watched this opening and I was like, thank God they're getting to it. Like, we have the setup. We're ready to go. We know he's going to get off the island, but like, they did it. I thought it was a pretty clever way of doing it. He's making mushroom coffee. A little stupid. Maybe the kids don't care, but we got to see some cool mushrooms.
The device was cool.
Yeah.
He set up a Rube Goldberg device at the beginning. And
then he like, Home Alone's got nothing on those booby traps he set up all over. I'm trying to get as many 90s references as possible in here. And then, my theater went nuts when we knew Knuckles was coming because he was in the after credit scene, I believe, of the first movie. We knew Knuckles was coming.
Yeah,
and
he's in the trailer.
Those kids were going insane just as soon as they saw Knuckles, and I was like, "Fuck yeah!" And then the Knuckles reveal and then there was a pretty quick conflict. I was actually really surprised by that. I was like, "Oh my gosh!" I'm trying not to spoil anything yet. We'll get into spoilers later, but I was like, really right away, we have Jim Carrey coming back, Dr. Robotnik, and then immediately like going to fuck some shit up with Sonic. Like, I was like, holy shit, we're 15 minutes in and we're flying. I thought it was really, really good use of that. And we got to see Sonic go full Batman. Because that was, again, my one thing with the first movie is he was running for fun, but also he was really sad. He was a little depressed while he was running around. Whereas this movie, he was putting it to good use. And I was like, okay, this is Batman, Spider-Man. And then they made the Batman joke.
Yeah, this is his Peter Parker movie. Like, I was
surprised they made the Batman joke instead of the Spider-Man joke because he seemed way more Spidey to me. But that's just,
maybe they knew when it was going to come out and they were like, let's not touch that.
Good point. Although they decided to come out right after the Batman.
Yeah.
So let's talk. Yeah. So I completely agree. I thought it was so fun. I thought the whole thing. The reviews are kind of mixed, but the more we think about reviewers, the less we like them.
I mean, the thing is also, when you think about it, most of these reviewers are doing what we did. They're going to it by themselves.
It's true.
And they're just sitting there watching the movie. They're not gay. Like, they're probably not in a theater with, like, full of families and kids behind them, which, again, raised my enjoyment level of this movie tenfold.
That's true. That's 100% true. I've done that before. I forget when it was, but I went to a press day of, oh, you know what it was? It was the 5-year engagement, that movie. I don't know how I got tickets, but we went and they said, we want young people to laugh because we invited the press. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And actually, I saw it so early that there was a Katniss joke that they removed and put in there was a Pocahontas joke with the archery, and they put in the Katniss joke because I guess it came out around the Hunger, whatever. Anyway, so
yeah,
I'm surprised
that Pocahontas joke didn't test well.
Because if certainly not during the 2016 presidential campaign, I'm surprised that that if they didn't see it with kids, because if you saw this with kids, you have like the Rotten Tomatoes meter, like it has to automatically be fresh as soon as you say every single family loved this movie. So what is the reviewer supposed to say?
I'm wondering, are these reviewers like are they just like reviewing the film, or do they take into account an audience's reaction to it? Because if it's just your job to go and see these movies, you're not really in the mood to see it. It's a kids movie. You go in there with the wrong attitude. Like I went and saw Winter Soldier, Captain America: Winter Soldier. Hated it. I went just after some bad stuff had happened. I went to distract myself. I was in the wrong frame of mind to watch it, and I hated the film. It wasn't until later when I rewatched it, I was like, "This is awesome."
And how important it is to the series. Like you didn't need an Avengers movie to get them all together. I thought, yeah, that's so funny. You said that during our franchise face-off. I forgot that you had that experience. Hilarious.
But again, it's your mood going in can affect it. The experience isn't just what's on the screen. The experience is what everyone else is experiencing around you. It's a collective, and I don't think they're taking that into account when they review it. Shame on them.
Yeah, shame on them, reviewers. I'm super impressed in this movie because I always use Stranger Things as the example. Now, kids tend to like seasons 1 and 2 of Stranger Things more, I have found in my experience of talking with kids, because it scales up. Everything just gets bigger. But for me, I watch it and I'm like, man, they don't know what to do with these kids. Like they had the perfect algorithm, so to speak, of what kids should do what. But then all of a sudden it's like Dusty goes to radio camp and now he can like hack the Russians. And it's like, okay. And then it's like Steve works at ice cream place. So it's like that you could tell they're just like trying to figure out how to get all of these kids a job to do, when really like all they need is 11 to just fuck some shit up. So with this movie, I was worried about that. Like Adam Pally, I think Adam Pally is really great as Wade, the local sheriff. And it's hard. Comedy's hard when you have to play dumb, when you have to play below your intelligence line.
He did much better in this one than one. In one, it was annoying.
Well, I was
honestly, like, oh, come on.
I kind of have to agree with Jim Carrey, too. Not that I didn't like Jim Carrey in one, but I saw something online that was like Jim Carrey does an impression of himself. And it was a Sonic interview. And I wonder if either Jim presented that himself or if the interviewer presented it himself. Like, he is kind of doing 90s Jim Carrey in this. And that's such like a movie person thing to say because he's just trying to play this character. But in that first movie, he was like, I am not keeping this even keeled. I am on a different plane. I'm from a different planet. Like he's not from a different planet, the character, but like he stands out so much. I don't know how everybody else in the movie didn't go, are we fucking up right now? Because everybody else is just being normal and Jim Carrey is being a madman. But in this movie, he had so much to do every time he was on screen that I felt like it was really smooth. I felt like it was a smoother performance than it was
definitely it was definitely a subtler performance, and I liked that. So that when he did get his sinister turns, it was they almost made him kind of likable. So that when he turned, it was like, because there were a couple of turns in there you might not have expected. You were always expecting it from like Robotnik, but yeah, I can't say too much without getting into spoilers on that.
Well, we like this movie a lot, so why don't we just go ahead and say
I do just want to point out, like, in this one, because it had, I think, was $25 million more in the budget. They did not scrimp on the special effects.
It's true.
The visual effects in this are fucking amazing and epically huge. I looked it up. There are 16 VFX companies. Companies worked on this. 16 visual effects companies worked on it. They went nuts with this thing. I mean, I get it. You've got like at least the three main characters are entirely CG, and then you've got all those giant set pieces that they have to render out as well. A lot of water simulations. There was a lot of stuff going on.
How good do you feel about yourself if, as a company, you have a VFX company, and they're like, great, we're gonna give you 1/16 of the job we need done.
Well, that happens all the time because
Yeah.
they can't like these things. One frame of a water simulation could take 4 hours to render.
How about an avalanche coming through a interdimensional ring?
Yeah, that's.
I'm gonna say
I don't think it takes quite as long as a water simulation, actually.
interesting. I'm just gonna get out of my system. A little bit of a convenience thing with the Siberia to Hawaii travel. I still don't know how you get the ring afterwards. Does the ring just disappear? Does it stay in one dimension or the other? So there's still some like of the sciencey things. I don't know how he built that robot in an instant, but at the same time, I feel like these Marvel movies do that too, where they yada yada some of the science. So in all things considered, I feel like they had just the right amount of explaining and just the right amount of guys. It's a kids movie. Let's have some fucking fun.
I was also curious about whether he does get the rings back or whether that's a limited resource.
He always loses the rings.
Yeah.
But I mean, but when you use it, like when you actually
does it go away
through the planet?
Like that's the one thing we've never actually really had discussed in these movies.
Okay, I have one more beef though to air out. And again, I don't care. But why is it in the first movie they said he goes 296 miles an hour, and yet later in the movie he basically does bullet time, but he does a full Quicksilver. He does a full Quicksilver where he slows time down to 1 million.
He's playing with the cop.
He just wants to.
He's playing with him. Okay, yeah, he wants attention. He's been following him around. He likes to go and play with him. That's how he has his fun. Then to play with him, he slows down enough so that the radar freaks out.
Do you feel bad for the old man that Sonic is tormenting him in the first movie?
He got his vindication at the end. It's like
he did at the end finally. All right.
Yeah.
It's so funny. Yeah, we'll spoil it. We're gonna do some spoilers.
We're gonna do some spoilers. So yeah, go and watch this movie. And if you want to hear all the other fun stuff we're about to come out with, then by all means come back.
It's so funny in this movie because there is some plot, but they just like the action really is a lot of the plot in this movie. Like they don't. I feel like they are talking a lot to explain things.
I mean, this is a big Sonic story too. The Green Emerald, which is what they cover in this movie. So it's a big Sonic story. So like,
is that right?
Yeah, I feel like they kind of dismissed the humans, which was great.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean.
Like when they end up in Siberia and they're about to get like thrown in the fire, and they call for something, and it turns out to be a dance off. And I was like, okay, this is awkward. The guy with the tattoo on his chest cracked me up, but I'm like, okay, this is kind of weird. They're not doing well, and then it just kicked into them dancing off with it. Like I was moment of joy. I was pissing myself laughing.
What was that called when Tails? I keep saying she for Tails because it's a female voice, but when Tails says, "Oh, it's a Siberian tradition."
Yeah, I can't remember
what is it called. It begins with
the
B.
Yeah.
It begins with the B. I thought the same thing, where everybody clears away and they move the tables, and I was like, the bars I go to suck. Like that bar seems so much more fun. Oh my god!
I mean, I'd stretch before you go in, but yeah.
Yeah, you have to do yoga. I mean, come on. The guy's tattoo on his chest was of the pose he was doing when he revealed the tattoo. Like that is so funny.
That's why I pissed myself laughing. That was good. I want to say, and I wish I could have credited it earlier without ruining it, but the wedding scene in the middle, Natasha Rothwell, the sister who plays the sister, hated her in the first movie. Mainly because her whole premise was you need to divorce him, but it never says why. It doesn't say why she hates him or anything. So she just comes across as a little bitter, and if, for lack of a better word, a bit bitchy.
Not her fault, right? It was a script.
Yeah, it was a script thing. This time, we get to the wedding scene, and she's pulled him in already and said, "You ruined my wedding. I'll end you." And of course, shit goes horribly wrong. And then the wedding is ruined, and then it turns out the wedding was a complete forgery, and it's all a setup, and the guy she thought she was marrying is an agent. From that point on, she owns the next 10 minutes of this movie. She went to town, like had her own soundtrack, some shit with a golf cart. She got her hands on weapons. It was amazing.
She shouldn't have dropped that gun and just walked away with it because it's a very powerful thing. You should probably keep it close. But when she used it and hit the cake, when she had like the what was his title? This guy, the Commander Walters, tied up, and he's like, "Is that even real?" And she's like, "Is it real?" And she shoots the cake and it explodes, and she's like, "Whoa!" It is like it was so. I'm 100% with you.
Yeah, she just owned 10 minutes of this movie.
I still think look, Jim Carrey's great. I love the character thing. They left it a little open-ended of whether or not he's dead, of course. These kinds of movies.
It was an ambiguous ending. That the obscure death is as old as time.
Yeah.
But again, there was you stayed for the mid-credit scene, right?
Yeah.
So they have their villain.
The kids went nuts.
Oh yeah, the dads went nuts in my theater. So yeah, that was, and I was like, because at first it wasn't 100% clear, and I'm like, is that what I get? Oh my god, it is. So yeah,
funny.
they're heading for number 3, and I think given the response to this one, they'll get it.
I mean, for sure, especially if they get to their $400 or $500, $600 million. Back to the dance off scene.
Yeah.
In my music classes, I teach this elementary ed music twice a week. It's what I do. And I was doing the woodwinds, like teaching these kids, fucking woodwinds. And I found them, the woodwind section, doing Uptown Funk. And I played it. I did it Thursday and Friday. I do the same class regardless of their grade. I'm just like, I'm going to do it and I'll just modify what I say. And on Friday, some kid was like, that was in the Sonic movie. And I had just seen Sonic 1 and I was like, I guess it is. I don't remember that. This kid fucking saw Sonic on Thursday, like the day came out. The parents like went on Thursday night to go see this movie. And not only that, the kid remembered the next day. He's like, that's the song from the dance break. Like, I was like, holy shit, people, the power of music.
Why is this kid not on our show tonight? Fuck John.
Yeah, come on. His dad should pour him a beer. I should have buzzed John, although I don't have his deck open. No, but really, I will say though, the hero for me in all of these movies is James Marsden. Even though obviously Sonic is amazing, but
he is very grounding.
It's very grounding. That's it. It's a tough role. I was making fun of like him wanting to go to San Francisco thing before, but look, you need that in the storyline. You can't just. I don't know. It's hard for them to do nothing. Like it's hard for Sonic to just come in.
Some of the dialogue is like where they get to the family instance where they accept him as a family and that sort of thing. Some of that would be very hard to deliver in a heartfelt manner. It would come across as like just a little fake, or it'd be very hard to like nail that. And he has no trouble at all with it.
It's unbelievable. I mean, even the stuff that you almost to put the audience at ease when Sonic is by himself at the house while they're in Hawaii, which, by the way, I wonder if the Department of Homeland Security is like, how the fuck did these people get to Hawaii? I would love to know.
Yeah.
But how cheap would travel be if you could just use those rings to get to Hawaii? I would be in Hawaii now. Honestly, Dave, I'd be in Hawaii right now filming this.
Yeah, you would, yeah.
Instead of the virtual backgrounds, you'd have to edit out the sound of the waves.
Yeah, you'd see me sitting there with just a bowl cocktail on the bottom of the...
Oh my God, it'd be so great. As long as I knew how to get the ring after I used it to make sure that I don't lose it.
Well,
so
actually, they must lose it because he gave him another one to get back. Unless it just closes and drops to the floor where it was. But then if you go through it, you lose it.
I need answers. I still hate the reviewers that hate this movie, but I want to know. I'm curious. No, but okay, but so anyway,
that's just something we need an answer to. That's not a flaw of the film.
Yeah, I'm just curious.
Yeah,
James Marsden, when he's in Hawaii and he calls Sonic, and Sonic, by the way, apparently having fun is doing whatever the fuck he was doing, but it was definitely not kind to the house. And he turned the living room into a bubble bath. And then he does the thing, he's like, oh, I'm doing nothing. I'm just sitting here having a good time. And all I need is James Marsden to say that one line that was like, you said that in a really suspicious way. I just hope whatever it is you're doing, you can undo it by the time we're back. And it was like, good. It was like, good. Because now I know you're not an idiot. Because sometimes in movies, they're just like, great. I'm glad you're having fun. It's like, he's not an idiot. And there is an exit plan for this. Sonic isn't going to destroy the house. He's going to undo it. Like, I just needed that.
Hats off for sneaking in a risky business Tom Cruise slide into that film.
Okay. Again, I wish I had all of the references. They had references. First of all, Ben Schwartz as Sonic. Kudos. Ben Schwartz does the Parks and Rec joke where he goes, she's the worst, which is it's a very obvious Parks and Rec joke that is still like Twitter and it's TikTok famous now because they take like famous audio from things and they put it on their videos. So like you're the worst is like on TikTok now, but it's a Ben Schwartz joke, so he does it in this movie. You have this is a very, very specific reference. Jim Carrey, when he presented a Golden Globe, does this bit where they introduce him as 2-time Golden Globe winner Jim Carrey, and he says at the end of it, he's like, I don't just dream any old dream. No, sir. I dream of being 3-time Golden Globe winner Jim Carrey because then I'd be enough. And then I can stop this desperate search. And in this movie, he says, then I would be enough. He says that exact line. And I'm like, that is not by accident. They have like all of these little teeny tiny. So obviously they have Star Wars references and they have other 90s references and stuff in there. But they have like deep cut references of the actors in these movies too. I'm surprised there wasn't a Notebook joke. Honestly, the boat scene, they're probably, when James Marsden is on the boat, there probably isn't a Notebook reference in there with the boat stuff.
People will be finding references hidden in this for years.
Good.
It's
and
like what was it? Disney's Moon Knight this week. Somebody found that in the opening episode, there's a QR code on the wall behind one of the art exhibits in the museum. If you put your phone up that QR code, it takes you to the comic book where Moon Knight was introduced. And then the reflection in the window, if you do that one, it takes you to like episode 10 of the comic book where something else was like. They love hiding these stuff in these movies now, and it's become a great thing. And I feel like we'll be finding stuff in this for years to come.
Good. I feel bad for Paul Thomas Anderson and Quentin Tarantino that they haven't done that that they haven't snuck QR codes in their movies, but they got to get with the times, because I loved it in this movie. And the adult humor, I really think it's like, I just can't get enough of it.
I just had this like image on the wall. You just see like Samuel L. Jackson's face. When he's like, I've had it with these motherfucking dots on these motherfucking wall.
Oh my God, they should. That would be so good. Everybody's getting this. Tika Sumpter as Maddie Wachowski, James Marsden's wife, who's also, what is she, a nurse?
That was unclear. I think she was a nurse.
She wasn't a vet. She wasn't a vet. He turns to her at some point, and I thought, because
I remember the line a bit in the first movie about, no, I have smelling salts in my human first aid kit.
Sure.
It's like, yeah, do you have animal smelling salts? No, I don't.
What did you think? Sonic, can Sonic run on water during the game, or is that like something that he can do like as a shortcut to something?
I think you can if it's like level. If you fall on it, no. I can't remember. Yeah. I cannot remember. I haven't played those in so long.
Yeah, I
should have brushed them off.
Well, it was a cool device, because again, the last time when he was running, it was for fun, which is great to see him run for fun. But in the game, you collect things, like you have the missions. And I kind of felt like the first one, they kept it simple, which is fine. But if they didn't open with the action, I'd be like, "Where's the action?"
Well, he still wasn't at full power either in the first one. He didn't realize he could do that stuff either. So he didn't
realize he could blow up a satellite just by running fast. That's funny. But in this movie, he was working. He was working pretty hard the whole time.
Like I said, they dismissed the Union. The humans got dismissed for what? I want to say an hour of this film.
I have a feeling, I'm not reading any of these reviews because they go, fuck it. Like, this is a good movie. I don't care what they say. But I wonder if some of them got held up by the fact that the compass was in Siberia and then the emerald just happened to be in Hawaii, right off the shore from where this outdoor wedding was. I wonder if some of them were like, eye roll. How did he build the robots? I wonder if it's like those things that held up.
I never even went there. That's the thing. It was like they actually had a line in there that established it was hundreds of miles offshore.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't near Hawaii. It was out in the middle of the ocean somewhere.
And I like the wedding thing can be cheap too, because it can be so like, oh, it wasn't real anyway, like kind of thing. But I'm glad that they gave your favorite character so much room, because
I was so happy they did that, because
that Avalanche didn't come, they would have gotten married and then it would have been a sham wedding. Like, so but unpacking that and unraveling that, like ultimately this is a kid's movie, so it was good that we were able to dodge the bullet, even if it was done in a movie way. I think that's totally fine.
Also, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but it was so good to see Morgan from Criminal Minds doing that role.
Is that
the husband to be the groom?
Criminal Minds. I was trying to place him. I was like, I swear this guy.
He was in Criminal Minds for like 12 years. He was one of our favorite characters. He was like, every time the perp was running away and needed to be tackled, you knew he ran in that guy's direction. He was fucking tackling. He spent like, he spent like, how did I forget that? He spent like 10 years literally just tackling perps and delivering quips. It was the best career ever.
You know what? I think he, my mom like DVRs these shows, so I'm sure I saw either Criminal Minds or SWAT, because he was on SWAT too. That is how you make money, people. You do Criminal Minds for 15 years and SWAT for 5. It was might even still be going on. He was also a soap guy for a while. They had a beach volleyball scene that almost put Top Gun to shame as far as like just a bunch of muscled up.
The only thing missing was just a little more oil and lighting.
Yeah. But again, James Marsden handled that situation really well, where he took the beating, the guys on his team left him alone, and then he was, even though James Marsden, by the way, is a very attractive, very fit person, so he should in no way feel inferior to anybody, he somehow does, and it makes every other actor on the planet wonder why they haven't given up yet.
I'll tell you what, when we got to the point where like we've gone through the temple that they find, which is like underwater, and like there's traps going off everywhere. They finally get to the point. There's the big betrayal.
Indiana Jones there, of course. Come on, right?
Of course. Yeah, you can't do it without it. Robotnik gets the gem and becomes fucking super Robotnik, and he's at the point where thoughts become reality. And he goes back to the town, and the army turns up to try and stop him, and he walks out and literally starts disassembling the tanks. And like it literally, like these tanks just explode into their component form and drift off, and like then a train does it and a car does it, and I can just picture the poor effects guys going, "I'm sorry, you want to explode how many things into component form? Well, fuck that! I'm not seeing my family for 4 months, am I?" Like that would have taken so long. I know they reuse some of the components because some of them are small enough you can cheat and do that. But again, just to create usually when you create a 3D model, you create the shell and anything that can be seen. They had to create the internal components of this thing so that when it popped apart, you could see all of the pieces. And that was so much work for, I mean, it was necessary. It was great. It was an awesome effect and they used it a lot. But then that's how the big robot got built, but from all those components. But yeah, I just picture the poor bloody effects guys going, "Oh fuck me, I've got hours and hours and hours of like just making tiny fiddly little pieces, and then we got to jam it all together in a model."
I feel like it comes up a lot. Oh shit, my monitor just went off. Hopefully that didn't mess up. My recording's still going on, but hopefully it didn't mess up my frames for you to edit, Dave. My monitor, I hate it. It just goes dark. Wait, let me make sure this is going.
People, it's gone dark. Jeff's gone dark.
Oh, it's good. No, I'm still going. I just hope you might have to sync that up later. Line this up. People, live
we're starting
audio podcast.
We're starting a GoFundMe for Jeff's computer.
That's right. I have 4 months to get a student discount, so help me out. Okay. Yeah. To that point, I've been in writing classes and stuff, and you know, I always want to be in the meetings when decisions are made. I want to be in the room where it happens. So they say, write big, write the story, just write story, write what you want, and then worry about the reality of it later. But you don't want to sell yourself short because then you could be missing an opportunity down the road. Can you imagine being in the room where they were like, please, is there any other way? Can he just use a tree? Like, why does he need to? No, why do we need to take the inside of a tank apart?
That's the funny thing about visual effects guys, though. They will look at that and go, "Fuck yeah, I want to do that." Like they won't. It won't. It's not actually like a case of fuck. I won't see my film. So I mean, a couple of them might, but most of these guys, like it's like improv. The first answer is yes. Well, and then they'll provide you with something, and yeah, it's usually amazing. They've gone above and beyond. Like so.
Well, if they're going to these effects houses, I imagine they say, "Give us a quote," right? Don't you think?
Yeah.
Are they handing them an offer right away? Are they saying, "We want this Robotnik sequence to be done entirely by your house. You have 6 months."
They kind of put it out. We want the disassembly of a tank and this shot, and they bid for the shots. The effects companies bid. That's why you end up with 16 of them.
That's hilarious. Yeah, I guess it's kind of like building a house where you have the person tile the bathroom and you have the other person do the deck. And
yeah, I mean it's a common practice. Like it's very rare that like just one visual effects house is working. Except Everything Everywhere All at Once. It just had 7 guys.
So we'll still never figure it out. Wait, I want to gush. We want to gush them. We love them so much that we're mentioning them in a different movies.
The world is gushing them right now. They're getting gushed to fuck very deservedly.
They're expanding that release right now too.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else about time? I mean, I just love this movie. I almost want to redo this podcast when we see it on TV, when we could write down all of the things that are happening.
We'll do a special broadcast with just the references.
Hopefully people still listening were just like, I just like this movie and I want to spend some more time thinking about it because it's just fucking fun. The boating scene, that boating scene was really, really fun. Where it's like you have to have like the sappy thing, so you just have Sonic asleep. Like it's just like they handle these things. They handle these things really well. The Sonic trying to pretend like he's falling asleep, which is
like
a little.
I said, this is this is the benchmark.
That's Ferris Bueller's Day Off, right? I mean, a lot of people do like the fake asleep thing.
Oh,
don't come in. I'm really sick.
The tape recorder and everything was straight up Ferris Bueller's. That actually happened. I got that straight away.
That was it was so funny.
That's a huge '80s throwback. Like that's gone way back.
I mean, they stuffed as many into this thing as possible. Maybe it probably made it more fun to write. You could tell the people who wrote this movie had fun. I'm sorry, you could tell that there was fun. It was not a job. They didn't do this for money to fund their other project. They actually genuinely had fun with this. I wonder if they knew Ben Schwartz, because I feel like he's the kind of person that just like knows funny people in LA. And I wonder if they were like, I'm gonna do a she's the worst joke, just so you know. TikTok will love it. Like they just seemed like they had fun.
Yeah, it seemed like everyone was having fun in this. Whatever they did, it just gelled.
I'm coming back to Adam Pally, man. He had so much fun as Wade. There's such a small role, and he's like, I've done so many TV shows. Like, I never get to see myself on a fucking. They didn't get IMAX, by the way, because a fucking ambulance got IMAX. But they got Dolby Digital. They have Prime, whatever that is. I wanted to go to Prime just to see what it was.
Prime is when you don't have a Dolby mix, but you still want to charge people $20 for a ticket.
Glad I saw it in Dolby.
Yeah,
hilarious. But I bet you he like. Adam Pally's role, it didn't need any visual effects at all, except for maybe when he saw the workplace. We got to shout this guy out, the guy that's obsessed with Robotnik. I love it because in the first movie, you always wonder why these suits are just following around these like abusive leaders, It's like, but it's like in this one, they were just like, he's obsessed with them. It's like, great. It's like,
like he's planning his outfits in between like evil deeds.
Yeah, he's just like picturing his like avatar, like stuff like, that's Agent Stone, the coffee maker / I don't know, double agents for the dark side. Anyway, this is really fucking fun. Anything you're looking forward to for number 3 besides that incredible villain reveal? I mean, and maybe Jim Carrey will come out of retirement?
Shadow. I don't. You might see. What I'd love to see them do is a full Shadow thing, like Shadow Hedgehog, and then Jim Carrey appearance at the end. It's like, haha, psych, we've got another movie with Robotnik.
I mean, they should. Like, and maybe Jim Carrey wants to retire, but he could still like acting in something that he wants. Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like there's a way of retiring, but just not doing
if fucking Tom Brady can do it, Jim Carrey can do it.
Hilarious. Like, I actually think Daniel Day-Lewis is done, but like Jim Carrey doesn't want to do talk shows and stuff, but I think he would do Sonic 3. Like, come on.
I think he would too.
But especially
since the response to this has been so good.
My last
Except
thing about
for some
this
dickhead
is like,
critics.
These kinds of movies, Alec Guinness is always going to be Obi-Wan Kenobi. No matter what other things he did on stage, no matter his other screen performances, he's always going to be Obi-Wan and then the rest of the things. Sometimes you have to do these kinds of movies, and then it introduces you to a complete generation. Like James Marsden has always been kind of like a heartthrobby person. He's played JFK. He actually pulled off, I think I've only ever seen this in a love story where the person's going to leave the relationship and you're like, you know what? You'd probably be better off if you left. We all love Ryan Gosling. We know why she stayed, but she would have had a pretty damn good life with James Marsden. All I'm saying. So like he's been this heartthrob forever, and now he's like, it's a perfect situation. He's a dad character, but he doesn't have kids, so he could still be, you know what I mean? He's still a heartthrobby, but like he's a dad character, and now this whole generation of people is going to recognize him. So it's like the next 20 years of his career is off and running. Jim Carrey, like, okay, he doesn't need it anymore, right? He's accomplished everything he's ever needed, but it's almost too bad, right? Because like all these kids know who
like
he is.
He was great in like the 90s and 80s or whatever, or 90s, and then there was a dip where he did some great serious work. Like Truman Show was still one of my favorites, and I stand by. I'm in it right now. People are fucking watching me.
That was within 5 years of his big break. Like that was pretty quick.
But now he's found something else.
Yeah,
and it's again, like you said, he's exposed himself to a new generation, which is what everyone thought I was doing in the theater when I was sitting down the front by myself.
So they thought you were finding a new generation. So fucking gross. Hilarious. Yeah, he's found something else that makes him happy. He's not going to get any more famous. He's not going to get any more money. Relative, you know what I mean? As far as like, he's not buying islands. Like, he's not going to do that. Can't wait to talk about the unbearable weight of incredible talent or whatever.
Oh yeah,
we'll get
massive talent. Yes, that's coming.
But all this is great. I'm happy.
Yep.
I'm happy for John Ralphio getting work. Somehow there's like 7 people credited, but I remember more than that in the movie. But amazing, and we got some actual voice actors doing besides Sonic, obviously, but actual like voice actors doing the work. And Idris Elba, obviously, but
of course, yes. And
amazing.
He was funny.
It was really funny. Yeah, it was really, really funny.
Like he went full Drax. Like he did not get the jokes. It was full Drax funny.
And how many times have you seen that explain the joke for the old people character go like so cheesy? Like how many times have you seen that go wrong? And this one was really funny.
This one was a forehead slapper. You're like, oh, you idiot! Like you were along for the ride.
And they actually teased it with the handshake joke. I wonder if how mechanical that was. I mean, it's an animated movie, so I imagine it all was. But like, basically broke Jim Carrey's hand. He does it again to Agent Stone. And then now you have that, like, he doesn't get customs. Kind of like, that's like built into his character. So then later, when Sonic and Tails and he doesn't get any of the jokes, it's like, it's just opening that up. It's not a new thing.
Yeah.
For the guy. These people had so much fucking fun writing this movie.
They had fun. And they did it great. This will be the benchmark by which all other kids' movies are judged from this point forward.
Good. I guess you got to get Paramount Plus if you want to see good kids' movies that aren't on Disney.
Or just go to the damn theater.
One can only dream. Apparently, there's an outbreak going on right now. Anyway, who knows?
I don't know.
I'm hoping my immunity from January still hung on.
We'll see. Well, like I was looking at the graph the other day, and it's still down there. We haven't spiked. So I don't know what this outbreak everyone's reporting on. Maybe it's coming. I don't know. Maybe I'm a couple of days out of date.
Well, let's shout out the people before we send. Let's shout out the creative team here. So the director was Jeff Fowler, who really wants to do a Super Smash Brothers movie, and he wants the Sonic universe and the Super Smash universe to intersect. Is that possible? I didn't realize they were the same properties, but
I mean, Sony and Marvel work together. Anything's possible.
Our writers, Pat Casey, Josh Miller, John Whittington. Anything else before we head into our recommendations portion of this episode?
We've gushed enough about this. For God's sake, go and see this movie. It's awesome.
What fun, people. What fun. Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, and Shadow. Hopefully all 4 nice fun battle in the third installment in 2024.
If we don't get a Sonic 3, I'm going to be pissed.
How can you introduce Shadow and not? Like it's like... It is fun, though, because then if there isn't one, people are like, what happened? They could be like, blame yourself. We were ready to go. We didn't get that.
It was you.
They got it. After one more weekend, they've already made their budget back. They're going to 2X it in another week. Like, they'll be fine. They'll get it back.
Yeah. I mean, that's not even... There's a whole list of countries they haven't even opened in yet.
Exactly.
As well.
They'll get They'll get it. They'll do it. All right, Dave, it's time for us to go around the horn with a quick round of what you've been watching, some recommendations of the week. Dave, what you been watching?
I've been watching season 2 of Raised by Wolves, the Ridley Scott. It's not an Alien series.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not, but the androids are the same. They've got the milky blood, all that sort of thing. It's set in the same universe, and it's a slow watch. It's not something I normally enjoy watching, but for some reason I really enjoy watching it, and I think it's because the world building he did, where he's really built everything out, and now it's certain things like it's basically the atheists and the sun worshippers are the only 2 groups left on Earth, and they're fighting a war. So all these people like fuck off to another planet. And the idea was to get there first so they could conquer it, and they'd be the people left standing after they destroy the Earth. So
all of the other religions have fizzed out by this point?
Yeah, they're all worshipping Soul. Like you've got Soul and the atheists, and they're just, it's an interesting concept, but it is very, very sci-fi, and like I'm talking slower than Blade Runner sci-fi. So it's definitely an acquired taste. But give it a look. It's very that is HBO Max. It's very stylized. And I also rewatched The Last Starfighter this week. I went right back. It still holds up. It's awesome.
Shit.
And it will never be remade. I have an idea of how to remake it, but there's no point putting it down because they apparently the writer, like the guy who wrote it or something, held on to the rights, so they can never remake this.
Someday he'll pass on, and those rights will,
because he knew what fucks Hollywood were like.
Oh my god, that's funny. Anything else to add to the pot?
Nope. What have you been watching?
Well, I'm on a TV kick. So after our episode last week, I was like, I want to start a new show because this is Emmy dump season. So like all these goddamn shows are coming out right now, and we're a movie podcast, and I really want to watch movies, but I don't want to be left out of conversation because it's impossible to catch up. It's impossible to stay up to date with everything that's coming out. So I watched the oh my god, I knew I was gonna forget the name of it. I watched the trailer to the Adam Scott Ben. The beer is like just hitting me right this very second. I could literally feel it hitting me. The Ben Stiller.
Let me help.
Severance. Great.
I have been hearing nothing but good things about this, and I'm almost tempted to get Apple Plus just so I can watch it because it is.
I don't know where I was in my line of thought. Well, now I remember my password. I'm not going to share it with you after the shit you said about me during the Coda episode. Not about Coda, but we were talking about my settings and stuff. Okay.
Did you listen to the episode after that? I kept going.
Okay, yes, I remember. Get out of here. Fuck. Okay, so I watched the trailer for Severance, and I felt like it gave a little bit too much away. And I was like, I wish I was just like, and I reposted the thing on Instagram today. It was like the famous guy that holds signs up, and it was like, stop giving away the whole movie in the trailer. I thought that for Severance, because if I didn't, there was like a little twisty thing, which maybe there's more twists to come, but I was like, oh, I wish I didn't see that in the trailer.
Apparently there is.
I'm sure there's a million twists, but I was
super big, apparently.
So anyway, like maybe the one I saw was a mini twist, but I was like, no. And so there's so many I've
seen nothing at all.
I hadn't either. I listened to an interview with Adam Scott, and I still didn't think I knew anything. So I started We Crashed.
Ah, okay.
Because I'm like, I was really curious about the story. I remember when that article came out in 2019 that said like the CEO's fucking everything up for WeWork, and they're
I was no, I can't talk about that. I'm under an NDA for that.
Oh my god, that's so funny.
Yeah, but I was that's my in the room where it happened.
Fucking funny. Oh my god, because you have an NDA. Yeah, I can't say anything. I don't want to put you at risk of your NDA, but that's hilarious. People at home are like, what the fuck? So anyway, I watched We Crashed, and it's great. And honestly, anybody who's on the fence about Jared Leto, he redeems himself in this. He's really, really good in this. Anne Hathaway plays a very unlikable character, so she has an uphill battle, but ultimately, but it's Jared Leto's show, and he's fantastic. And Atlanta. I forget if I said that last. Did I say that last time?
You said that last week, okay. Yeah.
So then Halo. I'm in. Mm-hmm. Dave, I'm in.
I know. I'm 3 episodes in now, and I'm just like, give me more. Give me the thing. All of it.
I'm mad because I searched on my smart TV because I wanted to do it in the highest setting. My smart TV has a higher, has 4K, and my Apple TV doesn't. And fucking Samsung was like, oh, this is available on Paramount Plus. And I was like, good, Sonic is. This is perfect. So I'll start my 1-week free trial, and then I'll watch Halo and Sonic. And
it's only 3 episodes.
And it's only 3 episodes so far, but I registered through Amazon. But I'm pissed. I'm fucking pissed because I tried to get it on my device because I loved Halo so much that I was like, I want to download it to my iPad and watch this on the road. I know I should see it on the big screen, but I want to see what's happening next. It's really good. Halo's really good. You said that last week, but I'm fucking in. And I realized that I signed up through Amazon, and I was just fucking mad because I didn't even have the option. It didn't even tell me like, sign up at Paramount Plus through Amazon or on its own. So it automatically did it through Amazon. I'm pissed. So I'm going to cancel after my 1 week is up. But luckily my 1 week ends on Wednesday.
Have you?
And Wednesday's when the next episode of Halo comes out. So I'm going to cancel after I see episode 4.
I think I've thrown this out before, but go to your Apple TV app and scroll down about 3 lines, and they have all the networks that you can buy for a month for $9.99. And you pay $9.99, you cancel it straight away, and you get it for the month.
You get all of them for the month?
No, it's per network. But if something's coming out you want to watch, you can pay your $10 and you get a month's worth of the network.
So here's what I'm going to do, because Halo is going to have 10 episodes because it ends in May 19th, I think.
Yeah.
I'm going to cancel my 1 week subscription, and I'm going to be patient. And then at the beginning of May, then I'll pay for my month.
You want to know what's going to be absolute fucking torture? Is I'm in Australia at that point, and we've actually booked a stay at the Daintree in Australia, where there is no Wi-Fi, no TV. No, we're in a rainforest in a fucking treehouse, basically. So I will not be able to see the end of Halo until I get back from the home country.
Is that going to I feel bad for Therese here that she has to deal with you.
No, she's just as hooked as I am.
You're basically
she's hooked on this thing too.
You two are basically going to be going through withdrawal while you're on your vacation.
Yeah.
Halo's great, everybody. That's moral of the story is Halo's great.
That's all right. We'll go down to the beach, fight some crocs. Should be right.
So those are my recommendations for the week. That's it. That's all I've got. Anything else before we send the people on their way?
Let's send them on their way.
All right. Until next time, film fans, thanks for sticking with us.